Welcome, 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 welcome to the Mind Fuck Podcast. Welcome. I really, really love my intro. Welcome, 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 my friend. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for taking time out to being here with me. I really, really, really appreciate you. Thank you, 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 thank you. My name is Wonu Alishe. Sometimes I do go by Amazing Soul. Welcome to the Mind Fog Podcast. Okay, before I always start the podcast, I always share something that I titled or tagged reminders to being human. Basically, I read a list of a couple of reminders that I put together last month, and I've decided that before I talk about the actual episode, I'm going to read it out to you. It serves as a reminder to me, and it was also, I hope it serves as a reminder to you. All right. Reminders to being human. Have fun along the journey. Show yourself compassion. Be kind to others. Being complex and being simple can hold true in the same breath. Stay curious. Hold space for pauses. Hold space for not knowing. Never underestimate the power of silence. Nature has a lot of wisdom. Pay attention. There is power in we than I. If nothing else makes sense, come back to love. Pain is our greatest teacher. And never underestimate your ripple of existence. So, yeah, let's get into today's episode. So, I want to start with something that used to confuse the fuck out of me for a long time. You see, I was aware, I could see my patterns, I could name them, I could explain where they came from, I could even talk about them intelligently. And yet, I kept repeating them. Same emotional reactions, same relationship dressed in different faces, same coping habits, same internal conversations, same endings. And you see, that gap between awareness and actual change used to make me feel broken because I thought awareness should be enough. The truth, my friend, it wasn't. And today, I want to talk about what finally helped things start to shift for me. Not by forcing change, not by fixing myself, but by following the emotional charge. You see, for a very long time, I thought my patterns were logical problems. If I could just understand them better, if I could just analyze them deeply enough, if I could just trace them back to my childhood, then surely they will dissolve. So I did what many of us do. I read the books, I listened to the podcast, I journaled, I reflected, I named my triggers, all that good jazz. I became very good at talking about my patterns. But you see, nothing fundamentally changed. And the quiet truth was this: my patterns were not being They were not being maintained by logic. They were being maintained by emotional charge stored in my body. Let me slow this down. When I say emotional charge, I don't mean dramatic emotions. No, I don't mean crying on the floor or big emotional releases. No, I mean that subtle internal electricity, that tightness, that pull, that urgency, that familiar gravity towards a reaction. That part of you that feels like, I don't know why I'm doing this again, but here I am. That charge lives in the nervous system. And until I learn to feel that, not analyze it, not judge it, not explain it, the pattern had no reason to stop. You see, one of the clearest places I saw this in my life was with emotional eating. For years, I framed it as a discipline issue. I would tell myself if I were stronger, if I had more willpower, if I were more consistent. What that story did was it kept me locked in shame. But one day, instead of trying to stop the behavior, I paused inside the moment. I noticed the sensation before the reach. I noticed the tightness in my chest, a restless buzzing in my body, a sense of I need something now. You see, my friend, that wasn't hunger. That was emotional charge. Hmm. And that charge had a history. It wasn't asking to be fixed, it was asking to be felt. Here's something that changed everything for me in my life. You see, patterns don't repeat because you're failing. No, patterns repeat because something in you is still holding charge. The nervous system doesn't speak in insight, it speaks in sensation. And every time I try to outgrow a pattern without first feeling the charge beneath it, I was skipping the very layer that needed attention. Do you see that, my friend? I saw this again in my personal relationships. I used to say, wonu, why do I keep attracting the same dynamic? But a more honest question was, what feels familiar in my body when I'm in this dynamic? There was often a subtle tension, a hyper awareness, a sense of needing to manage, adapt, or prove. You see, my friend, that wasn't love. That was my nervous system replaying something old. And here's where the shift happened. Until I sat with that charge without trying to change the relationship, fix the other person, or even fix myself, the pattern stayed alive. This is the part people don't talk about enough. Awareness is cognitive, patterns are somatic. You don't dissolve a pattern by understanding it. You dissolve it by discharging it safely. And that only happens when you stay present with the emotional charge long enough for your body to learn something new. You see, my friend, at first for me, this was terribly uncomfortable because my instinct was to move away from the sensation, to distract, to soothe quickly, to explain, to numb, to optimize. But slowly, I practiced something different. You see, when the urge came to react, to eat, to overthink, to withdraw, to control, I did not ask myself, how do I stop this? No, no, no. I asked myself, can I stay with this sensation for 10 more seconds? Not forever. 10 more seconds. You see, the truth was sometimes I could, sometimes I couldn't. But over time, something surprising happened. The charge softened, not because I fought it, but because I allowed it to complete. Do you see the difference, my friend? This part is very important. Unfelt emotion doesn't disappear, it loops. Felt emotion moves through your body. You see, another place this showed up for me was control. I used to think control was a personality trait. Say things like, I'm just someone who likes things done in a certain way. You see, but when I paid attention to the body sensation underneath my control, there was fear. Fear of unpredictability, fear of disappointment, and also fear of losing safety. That fear, for me, had an emotional charge. And once I started noticing that, I mean, my tight jaw, the shallow breath, the bracing, I realized control wasn't the problem. It wasn't, it was protection. And this shifted how I treated myself. Instead of saying things like, why am I like this? No, I started saying things like, of course my body learned this. And that's when compassion entered the room. Not the fluffy kind. No, no, no. The regulating kind. Here's something I want to say very clearly. You don't break patterns by force. You outgrow them by integration. And integration only happens when the emotional charge is met with presence, not pressure. You see, I'll be honest with you. I talk a lot about nervous system regulation a lot, but this work is fucking slow. That's the truth. There's no fireworks. There's no dramatic I am healed moment. Just small shift. Moments where I pause instead of reacted. Moments where the urge passed without action. Moments where I felt safer in my body than before. You see, my friend, that's how patterns actually dissolve. They dissolve quietly, gradually, through safety. If you're listening to this and thinking, I know my patterns, but they keep repeating, I would love to offer you a different lens. You're not failing. You're not stuck. You're not behind. There is likely emotional charge that hasn't been fully felt yet. And that doesn't make you broken. No, no, no. It makes you a human being. Do you see the difference, my friend? So the next time a familiar pattern shows up, instead of asking yourself, how do I stop this? How about this? Try asking yourself this question. What am I feeling in my body right now? Where is the charge right now? And can I stay with it a little longer than last time? And that is where change actually lives. I didn't stop repeating patterns because I became better at self control. No, I stopped repeating my patterns because my nervous system learned it didn't have to hold the charge anymore. And that learning didn't come from insights. No, it came from presence. That's what I wanted to share with you today. I don't want to share with you a solution. I don't want to share a formula. I just want to share an invitation with you. I want you to follow your emotional charge, not to judge it, not to fix it, but to listen to it, my friend. Because every pattern you keep repeating is pointing you towards something that once needed protection and now needs understanding. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you for letting me share this with you. From my heart to yours, I am sending you so much love. Thank you.